Matt, you were not at the event, but I mean, were you surprised by the faith-based nature of it?
I was a little surprised by it. I think, you know, the Tea Party, by and large, has not been a religious-driven movement. I think this is just Glenn Beck's own personal weirdness that informed that particular aspect.
Why do you say weirdness?
Well, I think it's just part of his own personal mythology. He's a very religious person. Like Sarah Palin, it's a big part of his public persona, and it's a big part of the message that he's trying to convey.
Do you think it was a political event?
When Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin give a speech to 100,000 white people on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on the anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, it's a political rally. You know, I mean, if Barney the dinosaur or the cast of Entourage gives that speech, it's not a political rally. But in the context of everything that he's been doing for the last year with this very racially pointed propaganda that he's been pushing, it's definitely a political rally.
Dana?
I didn't see politics at play at all, and I wonder if Matt would still consider it to be a political rally, even though Dr. Alveda King gave one of the most brilliant and beautiful speeches that I'd ever heard. It was all about unity, and it was about how we are American, period. We are all in the exact same boat together. I didn't find it political, and I think if people perhaps maybe have a problem with it, maybe it's just that they have a problem with Glenn Beck and not so much the event and the idea behind the event itself.
Dana,
I didn't get that from the speeches that were made. When they were speaking about restoring honor, everyone was indicted. Every single American citizen was indicted, because I think at some point we've all, conservatives, liberals, this wasn't about identity politics. This was about we all as American people have grown apathetic, and we all contributed to the state of the economy. We've all contributed to the problems that we are in because we were silent. We've all allowed it to happen at some point. And that really was the theme. And you know, I like Glenn Beck. I think, you know, as a radio broadcaster, I respect his talent in broadcasting, both television and radio. I was really impressed that he was able to separate that and that he kept it out of this event. It was, I think it took some skill to do that.
You just don't buy the separation, though, Matt.
Well, clearly he toned down his usual rhetoric, but again, you have to take this weekend's events in the context of everything that he's been saying for the past year. Glenn Beck, for the last year, has not been pointing a finger at all Americans for the troubles that we're in. He's been very pointedly pointing the finger at the Obama administration with very racially divisive commentary. He didn't have the usual statements like Barack Obama's a racist and has a deep-seated hatred of white people. He didn't say the things like, you know, pretty soon they're going to turn the fire hoses on us and let loose the German shepherds. None of that rhetoric was there, and I almost thought some of the people in the crowd were disappointed that it wasn't.
And I think it was really asking Americans, hey, you have a responsibility as a citizen of this country to act honorably, politically, and in other arenas. So remember that when you're out there discussing liberty evangelism or what have you. That's what I took away from it.
Should Democrats be scared?
No, I mean, I think in the short term, definitely there are clearly going to be some losses for the Democrats because of all this political energy. But in the long term, this Tea Party movement is going to kill the Republican Party, because it's going to make it impossible to win that center ground. You're not going to be able to win nominations without appealing to this group of people, but if you do appeal to this group of people, you're going to lose every non-white voter in the country. And a large percentage of the sort of independent, middle-of-the-road voters. It's a very, very dicey situation for the Republicans.
Dana, I'll give you the final thought.
Yeah, I would disagree with Matt strongly on that, because almost every single poll that has come out since spring of last year shows, Rasmussen, Gallup, Quinnipiac, by and large, independents and moderates are flocking from the Democrat Party. Not just those, but also voters in the black community as well. We have more than ever in any other election period. We've had more black conservatives running on Republican tickets and primaries, and they are doing exceedingly well. Charles Lawler, Alan West. We also have Cedric Crenshaw in Illinois. I think what we're seeing is a really true awakening with this grassroots movement, that people are realizing for the first time that individual liberty is applicable to everyone. It is not patented by one side or the other, and that's my hope for this movement, and that's what I've been seeing.
I said it was final thought, but I'll let you respond if you want.
I mean, you're naming individual black politicians as though it's representative of you know, widespread black attitudes. It's just not the case. I just don't see large numbers.
Matt, perhaps if people like you in the liberal media quit trying to diminish the contributions of black conservatives in the political sphere, more would have the courage to speak out.
I just don't even, I mean, this is like one of those things when you see your crazy uncle taking his pants off at Thanksgiving. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. It's so incredibly offensive, this whole business.
So you name call.
I don't know how to respond to that. This whole thing, you don't know whether they're being disingenuous or clueless and not seeing how incredibly offensive this entire event is. And it's really sad, and I think
How is it offensive? You found prayer offensive? You found Dr. Alveda King speaking offensive?
No, I find 100,000 white people gathering on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Were you at the event so you can validate that every single person there was white?
No,
Matt,
I'm sure there were a few scattered minorities
but then where do you
at this
base
event.
where do you get that assumption from then?
Because
Don't
I've
you
been
feel it's a little
to
bit
numerous Tea Party rallies. I've been
because you've been to
covering this
other events,
phenomenon
right?
for a year.
Were you at this event and you can validate for sure that
I watched it
every
on
single
television.
person
I
in
certainly
attendance,
saw that crowd.
because that's exactly like being there watching it on television. Excellent.
All right. I appreciate both